Sarah Platt finally admitted to Todd Grimshaw that she was responsible for Theo's death during the latest episode of Coronation Street. The long-running Weatherfield resident struck Theo with a metal pipe during a heated confrontation on top of the scaffolding above the builder's yard, causing him to fall to his death. For several months, fans were left wondering who had killed Theo, who had spent almost a year emotionally and physically abusing Todd Grimshaw. Despite the mystery surrounding the case, Sarah was never officially considered a suspect by the police. In fact, investigators have yet to treat her as a person of interest, largely because she was believed to have been unconscious inside number 8 on the night Theo died. Viewers already know that Jodie Ramsey was secretly responsible for knocking Sarah unconscious after hitting her over the head with a decorative ornament. However, none of the other characters are aware of that truth. Earlier this week, a flashback finally revealed what really happened. Theo cruelly insulted Sarah, Todd, and the baby they had together many years ago, who tragically died shortly after birth. During the confrontation, Sarah reacted instinctively and struck Theo, resulting in his fatal fall from the scaffolding. Sarah is currently in a relationship with DC Kit Green and appears to be heading toward an engagement. Because of this, she felt she couldn't involve him in the incident. Instead, she turned to Gary Windass for help, and he agreed to cover up what had happened. His involvement caused serious tension with his wife Maria, who wrongly believed Gary and Sarah were having an affair. The situation became even more complicated when DS Lisa Swain charged Summer with Theo's murder. Although Summer was later released, Sarah chose to stay silent and allowed an innocent person to spend time behind bars rather than reveal the truth. After growing tired of hearing Todd repeatedly blame Gary for Theo's death, Sarah finally confessed everything during Thursday night's episode. Fighting back tears, she admitted, "It was me. I knocked Theo off the scaffolding." When Todd questioned Kit's honesty, Sarah defended him, insisting he wasn't corrupt and explaining that he genuinely wanted to marry her. She went on to explain that after Theo died, she was completely traumatized and didn't know what to do. She couldn't bring herself to call Kit, so Gary became the only person she felt she could turn to for help. Sarah reminded Todd that Theo had convinced everyone he was capable of murder, making it understandable why Todd had run away that night. She also accused Todd of judging her unfairly, pointing out that Theo had already destroyed Todd's life before dragging her into the nightmare as well. Sarah explained that unlike Todd, she had no chance to escape because she was trapped high on the scaffolding while Theo aggressively threatened her with a bottle. According to Sarah, Theo repeatedly got into her face and attacked her verbally, insulting her personal life and cruelly claiming that the death of her newborn baby was somehow deserved. Those heartbreaking comments pushed her beyond breaking point. She recalled spotting a metal pole nearby and, acting entirely on instinct, she shut her eyes, swung the pole, and watched Theo collapse. Later, Sarah feared Todd was about to report her to the police. However, when she found him in the Rover's Return, he admitted he couldn't bring himself to do it. Even though he was furious that Sarah had taken away his chance to see Theo face justice for the abuse he had suffered, his feelings for her prevented him from handing her over. Todd confessed that the hardest part of the situation was how deeply he still cared for Sarah, admitting he couldn't bear the thought of watching her go to prison. The pair shared a complicated history as teenage sweethearts before Todd came out as gay, yet they had managed to remain close friends over the years. Grateful for Todd's decision, Sarah hugged him. However, the emotional moment quickly ended when Todd told her their friendship was over. He declared that he no longer wanted her to be part of his life, leaving Sarah devastated. She returned to the Rover's Return and continued drinking while dancing unsteadily to Whitney Houston's "I Wanna Dance with Somebody." Concerned family members eventually stepped in and escorted her out of the pub. Back at number 8, another shocking moment unfolded while Sarah sat with David the dog and spoke to Jodie. Trying to comfort her, Jodie casually mentioned that recovering from an attack takes time and suggested returning to the house might have brought back painful memories. As she petted David, Jodie remarked that the dog wasn't barking this time. Her innocent comment immediately caught Sarah's attention because no one should have known David had been barking on the night of the attack. Sarah quickly questioned how Jodie knew that detail. Although Jodie attempted to brush it off, Sarah had already begun connecting the dots. She appeared to realize that Jodie had been the mysterious person who attacked her that night. Coronation Street star hints at Summer Spellman's future after prison nightmare. A Coronation Street cast member has opened up about what could be next for Summer Spellman following her recent release from prison. Summer became caught up in the long-running mystery surrounding Theo Silverton's death after she was wrongly accused of killing him. Now that Tyrone Dobbs has helped clear Summer's name and the soap has finally revealed that Sarah Platt was responsible for Theo's death, attention is turning to how Summer will react once she discovers the full truth. Speaking about the storyline, it was suggested that Summer will eventually learn what really happened, just like the rest of Weatherfield. However, since she was forced to spend time in prison for a crime she didn't commit, she may struggle to forgive Sarah immediately. The experience could leave her feeling deeply hurt and betrayed, creating tension between the two. Although Summer has shown she can stand up for herself when necessary, she is also someone who tries to understand other people's actions. She has always been encouraged to see situations from different perspectives, so her response could go in either direction depending on how events unfold. With her legal troubles now behind her, Summer appears set to remain in Weatherfield for the time being, despite previously planning to return to America and continue her education. America still represents an option for Summer whenever she feels the need to escape her problems. Even so, there is hope that life on the cobbles will improve enough for her to decide to stay. If things become too difficult again, however, leaving for America could still become her backup plan. Coronation Street's Will takes bold step as Megan's court case approaches. Will Driscoll makes a life-changing choice in Coronation Street as Megan Walsh's upcoming trial draws closer. He has been struggling with everything that followed his confession about Megan manipulating him, a revelation that led to her arrest and charges related to grooming. Despite being taken into custody, Megan soon found her way back to Weatherfield and attempted to reconnect with Will as she desperately tried to avoid facing justice. With the trial fast approaching, emotions have been running high across the street. At the same time, Ben has become increasingly worried that Sam may not be emotionally strong enough to give evidence in court after receiving his recent diagnosis. Adding even more pressure to the situation, Megan's mother Janine has unexpectedly arrived in Weatherfield. Although she claims to be there to support her daughter, her true intentions appear far more suspicious. Meanwhile, Will has secretly been chatting online with another gamer using the username Minimog16. With Megan's trial now only days away, everything points towards Will giving evidence in court. However, with Megan and members of his family watching from the courtroom, the biggest question remains whether he will stay strong under the pressure or lose his nerve at the last moment.